Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Varen and I am here today to try my hand at my first pick a card reading, and we're looking at the energy of February, energy obstacle advice, what's going on for you. Let's get to it. First, just a super quick note, as this is the first video I am filming post name change. As it turns out for me, the journey of finding myself is absolutely not linear, and that includes with my name. So previously I was going by Kyra, and I feel like that name ended up just being a transition to bring me to the spot of being okay with the fact that I can change my name as a grown-ass person. And so I'm going by Varen. I plan to legally change my name to Varen just as soon as I have the money, which will hopefully be with tax season. So maybe for my birthday. It's very exciting. Anyways, that's that. I've mentioned before previously that I wanted to try pick a card readings, and I thought, well, let's do it now. It's the beginning of February. I'm kind of fucking bored, so here we go. I have the Tarot of Oneness, and I went and shuffled and pulled these cards ahead of time. And what I want to look at is just the month of February, what's going on. I really love doing predictive readings in my client work, as I am a professional tarot reader and astrologer. Stay tuned to the end and you'll hear more about that, or check out my description box where there's my website and whatnot. I love doing things from the predictive lens, from the perspective of what kind of energies and themes are going on that perhaps are calling our attention to work on them or to work with them, so we can grow and expand through the empowerment, personal growth lens. So with that lens in mind, I have 3 piles here. We have a pile here, and so you're going to be picking by crystal. There's timestamps in the description box, so once you've decided which pile you want, you can go ahead and clicky the timestamps. And yeah, this feels so weird. I'm super nervous because I've never filmed a video like this. I decided to just use one tarot deck because given that I am slightly nervous because this is the first video of this kind on my channel, I wanted to pick something that I felt comfortable with. So I went with the gorgeous Tarot of Oneness by Robin Voicey. You can check that out linked in the description as well, the Etsy shop. So I've already pulled. I pulled for each pile. I pulled an energy, an obstacle, and an advice. So your crystals to choose from. For pile 1, we have this beautiful Kambaba Jasper. I love this little face. It looks like it's going ooh at you, and I love it. Pile 1. For pile 2, this is a beautiful Aroganite cluster. And for pile 3, we have this Selenite desert rose. Look at that. So cool. All right, I'll see you in your pile. Hello and welcome. If you are seeing this, then you picked the pile 1 Kambaba Jasper. So let's take a look and see what you got. We'll just put that to the side. And you guys actually got an extra card. We pulled a card for the energy, and I work with jumpers. We pulled a card for the obstacle, and 2 advice cards came out, which is interesting. So I wonder if perhaps, if you're watching this and you feel inclined to share, do you have any significant Libra or maybe even Gemini placements? That would be very interesting to know. So if you feel like sharing, you can go in the comments down below and be like, I'm pile 1 and I have a Libra sun, or whatever it is. If not, that's cool too. I'm just curious because most of the time I don't get double jumpers unless there's some sort of Libra or Gemini involved. All right. Okay, let's see what we got. We've got the energy. This is the present moment card. This is one of the extra cards in the deck. Obstacle. The Fool. Oh my, this is interesting. Oh yeah, I have no poker face, so you will hear me respond to the cards. And the advice, we have the Five of Cups and the Emperor. Okay. Let me just make sure we're in focus here and that we're getting all of these beautiful cards. Let's put these two beside each other like that. There, that's better. Okay. So looking at this as a whole, I would say the energy card is actually the energy we want to aim towards. I don't know if it's necessarily the energy that that you're just in already, but I think this is kind of like the goal. This is the goal. This is the energy we want. We want to be in the present moment. This is what's blocking us from that. And this is why and how to kind of allow ourselves to be in this present moment. So for some reason, if you're watching this, you're in a time where you really need to make some space for yourself, need to meet yourself where you are, allow yourself to be where you are in life. And for a lot of us, that can be really super, super uncomfortable. And for this capitalist consumerist society we are all living in right now, or at least in my part of the world, and like the US. I can't speak for parts of the world that I haven't experienced, and I'm in Canada, by the way. This capitalist consumerist world that we live in very much teaches us that we should not be in the present moment, because capitalism and consumerism win when we're disconnected from ourselves, because when we're disconnected from ourselves, then we're unhappy or less happy. And then when we're less happy, we want to buy more stuff because we believe the programming that we've been taught that buying stuff will make us happy, etc., ad infinitum. It goes for forever. This dangerous loop. Right now, as best as you possibly can, it's a time where you need to kind of interrupt that cycle for yourself. You need to give yourself space. So maybe something happened recently, maybe something, it could be internally or externally. I don't know, of course. Maybe something happened recently where you're there's just a lot of emotions going on. There's a lot that needs to be processed, or things have just been kind of disastrous. I don't know, take your pick, whatever fits for you. But it's this overall feeling of like, you really need to just meet yourself where you are. You really need to just allow yourself to take each moment as it comes, day by day, for this month of February 2023. It's and I think it's one of the hardest medicines for us to do at this time in the world, because there's been so much where we've been taught that we're not allowed to stop. We're not allowed to be still. We're not allowed to need time. We're not allowed to need space. And all of those things that we've been taught are bullshit. They're just bullshit, and they're not fucking true. We are allowed to have time. We are allowed to have space. And I think you know that you need that right now. And if you're watching this and what I'm saying makes sense, and you've been kind of hoping or asking for a sign that maybe like universe, please give me a sign that I'm right and that it's okay for me to take a break, then this is that sign. Take a break. It's okay. You're allowed. And kind of what's feeding into this feeling of that this is what we're aiming for is this Fool card here as the obstacle. The Fool card as the obstacle is essentially, it could be that there's a lot of risky things going on around you. That could be a layer. What I'm feeling more strongly looking at this card right now is that there's, I'm thinking, hold on, let me find my words. This feels kind of like, it feels like you've been white knuckling it in a way. In that sense of like, often for a lot of us, when bad things happen or hard things happen or confusing things or whatever it is, when things happen internally or externally to you, it's like the just keep swimming mentality from Finding Nemo. If I just keep swimming, it'll be fine. If I just keep swimming, it'll be fine. And there is truth to that. To a point. And this is the point we are at here. Group 1, your point, you've reached the point where the just keep swimming mentality is no longer benefiting you. It's no longer helping you. I think it's actually causing harm, because as soon as I saw this as an obstacle, it's like, okay, they keep doing new things. They keep putting new things on their plate. They keep taking new chances, which in and of themselves, those are wonderful qualities, but it's misplaced right now, and it's not what you actually need. So another thing that just popped into my head is if you're watching this and you've been wanting and considering maybe something like a depth year, where you put yourself on a strict, I'm kind of lecturing myself, so I'm right there with you, group 1, I promise. If you've been considering putting yourself on like a strict, I'm not going to buy any decks, I'm not going to bring in new things, I'm just going to focus on what I have, this could also be your sign to do that. Because that's exactly what this Fool card feels like. It feels like something big is going on internally or externally, and it's bringing up a lot of hard and uncomfortable things, and I'm feeling this hard and uncomfortable things, and I don't want to feel it, so I'm gonna do a new thing and pile that on top of me to avoid the hard and uncomfortable things, or to give me that moment where I feel good, that moment where I feel comfortable or more comfortable, because I'm scared of the discomfort I'm feeling. It feels like that kind of an avoidance. And I hope I'm explaining that well. And all of us do this. Everyone has moments where they do this. And there are times when it is helpful. And for sure, the bottom line, no matter what, if you are watching this and you are not in a position where you feel safe to dig into whatever emotions is coming up in your life, or that you've been dealing with, whatever it is you're trying to process, if you're in a space where you're not safe to do that on your own, get support. You deserve it. I hope that you are in a position where you can get support, because that's not always accessible to everybody. It's unfortunately true, and it makes me want to punch people repeatedly in the face. But that's beside the point. There's a spiral here and that spiral in there. I think the obstacle is you're spiraling into the external things, when really there's some sort of a call to spiral just into yourself. And it doesn't necessarily feel like spiraling into the deep and dark parts of yourself, the parts that are super, super, super uncomfortable. Honestly, this feels more like something external going on, causing this need to gain space for yourself. that may not be the case for everyone. Overall, it feels more like external things have been going in. And so the feeling here of spiraling into yourself, this feels like a relief rather than like a, I don't want to go there. It feels relieving. There's hairs everywhere. I'm sorry. And then for the advice, this right here, it's the whole of the cards together that is building this story for me. And the Five of Cups definitely help to clinch it, the idea of what this is about. Because one of the pieces of advice you got is about, like, this person is sitting inside. The perspective of this card is you are sitting inside looking out at the rain. And when I look at this card right now, I don't get a lot of my intuition. I get feelings, and based on how I feel looking at the card is kind of part of what the message is. Looking at this card right now, I don't feel like I'm stuck inside. It feels like the world is crying with me. And it feels like an honoring. Very much feels like an honoring. And having the Emperor with it, this is quite beautiful because the Emperor is about control and boundaries. So this right now, the Emperor is feeling very safe. Overall, I think, Pile 1, that you are in a place where you need to carve out and create your safe space, your safe boundary. I know that's a tall order, and I know that all of us watching this, we all have lives. We all have multiple factors and multiple layers of many responsibilities that go into our day-to-day life. So carving out space for ourselves can feel really overwhelming. And when we don't believe that we deserve that space, it's even harder. You do deserve the space, though. We all do. And frankly, that's why most humans are just grumpy and hate their life and are constantly trying to escape it, because humans have been taught by each other not to put themselves first, so no one puts themselves first. And if they do put themselves first, they're called obnoxious or an asshole or all these other things. And so people who don't put themselves first are miserable because no one else puts them first. And it creates this horrible, vicious cycle. And it breaks my heart because no one deserves to feel like they aren't allowed to do what they need to do to take care of themselves, to actively love themselves, not necessarily feel love towards themselves. That's a whole other issue, but to do loving things for ourselves. We should not have to justify needing a day off work because we're exhausted and we just can't function. We should not have to justify wanting to spend an hour by ourselves in a quiet bath at the end of the day. Whatever it is that looks like for you, you're allowed to meet yourself where you are. You are allowed to need rest. You are human. We all need rest. Every single one of us. And you are allowed to remember that you should hold yourself to no standards but your own, because ultimately it's your life. No one's going to live it for you, and no one's going to pay the consequences of your choices and the ramifications and the consequences we like. That's all you. I hope you have people who will support you and surround you with love while you do this hard work of putting yourself first, because that tends to be where we falter, because if we're not supported. But really, I think that's what February is about for you. And I think you've got 2 majors here. This is a big deal. This is really important. You deserve boundaries. You deserve time. You deserve space. And despite what everyone else would have you believe, there is plenty of space and there is plenty of time. I hope this month you find ways to work on allowing yourself to be in the present moment. It doesn't have to be much. It can be 5 minutes a day where you just sit and stare at a wall in silence. Just those moments to be. I hope you spend some time sitting inside or just being honored with your emotions, honoring your emotions, working to stay in the present moment instead of bringing yourself out of the present moment and towards this new thing, so that way you can honor the emotions. And I think a big key, it's like this. These 3 go together, and this is the key. In order to help yourself be able to do this, in order to help yourself be able to stay in the present moment, avoid the starting new things because the present moment is uncomfortable, allowing yourself to honor the emotions. I feel like the big takeaway for you is, in order to do that, you need to build the container. You need the boundaries. And you are the authority of your life and your boundaries. So now's a time to enact some boundaries. Build yourself the container. Build yourself the safe space to do it. I don't think they necessarily are going to be lifelong boundaries, though the lessons you learn through building them, I think, will stay with you for forever. I hope. Boundaries don't always have to be a permanent thing. Right? It's like when someone is sick physically, they give themselves the boundaries of, I'm going to stay home and I'm going to let myself nap and watch TV. They give themselves boundaries that help them get through this time. And right now, in the month of February, according to these cards, you need boundaries to allow you to honor the emotions going on so you can stay present and process, and then you'll better be able to understand how to move forward. So that's that, pile 1. I hope that made sense. Since this is my first time doing this, I'm going to ask if you please let me know in the comments down below what pile you picked and if it made sense. You do not, I will never ask for more details. Feel free to share anything you want. It would be very helpful for me as a creator to know if my readings here land, because I am nervous and this is my first time doing a pick a card. So just for this time, I'm going to ask you to please consider leaving that comment saying pile 1, yes, it made sense. Something as simple as that. Of course, it's not a requirement and I'm not going to hunt you down or anything if you don't. I'm just putting it out there as that would be very helpful and supportive for me. So yeah, that's it. And I hope you enjoyed. You can check out, in case you are going to click off of this video, if you are interested in working more with me personally, I do tarot and astrology all by my onesome. You can check out my website down below. And then if you go to the outro timestamp, you'll hear a bit more details. Thank you so much for watching this. I love you all. Bye, pile 1. Hello, pile 2. If you're here, you chose this beautiful Aroganite cluster. At least I'm pretty sure it's Aroganite. And pile 2. These are your cards. You have 3 cards. We pulled an energy card. At least I did ahead of time. An obstacle card and an advice card. So there you go. And once again, this is a reading for going into the month of February. What's like the energy? What's the obstacle? What's the advice? For this month. Let's see what you get. The energy, ooh, I have Awakening or the Judgment card. Yeah, that's the other thing. I have no poker face, so I will see cards and I'll go, ooh, or oh, and I'm a wild ride. What can I say? The obstacle is the Two of Swords. Okay. And the advice, the Star. Ooh. Okay. While I take a minute to just think, let me just show you these cards. This is Awakening or the Judgment card. This is the Two of Swords. And this is the Star. Stunning cards. Stunning, stunning, stunning cards. Boop. Make it less blurry. There, that looks better. Okay. My goodness, pile 2. What? Oh my gosh. This is a wow. This is a wow going on right here. My goodness. We had 2 majors in pile 1 and then 2 majors. What is in the air? What's in the air? I don't know of any sky weather that's like, have all the majors. Oh my God. Okay. I love this. So, first of all, the energy. This is some big stuff here. Big shifting, big changing. This is like the personal level up card. It's those moments when you know something is happening, something is changing, and like you'll never be the same. It's a feeling sometimes too of a calling. I feel like you're on the brink of this and you're looking for this. It feels like the Judgment card feels like that feeling to me when life kind of, when you know it kind of feels like it's time to change something. In the Starseeker Tarot, the Judgment card is this beautiful feminine presenting person that looks very phoenix-like and is being reborn from the flames. It's being called to something greater than or outside of yourself. Whatever that looks or feels like to you. So to get this as an energy card, woof, this is big bananas. And I don't know why. I started saying that once in a client reading. I was like, this is big bananas. And it's just kind of stuck with me. And I don't understand it, but there it is. But it's something that you want, I think. I feel like, okay, I just had a thought. This Two of Swords here. The swords are the air suit. So they're how we think and communicate, at least in my tarot practice. That's how I read them. And here in this image, there's 2 doors with a green and a blue light under the left one and a green light under the red one, or under the right one, not the red one, silly me. I feel like I think you're getting bogged down in the details. I feel like you're overthinking. And through overthinking, you're kind of stunting your own awakening process. Now, that I'm not saying it's your fault. I don't really believe in faults so much. Like, I don't believe in blaming people. It's your responsibility if you want to address it. It's not your fault, though. What's super interesting here is both of these cards that bookend this Two of Swords, the energy and the advice, have a lot of blue and green in them. And that's kind of creating this feeling of like this being an illusion. This is feeling very like Seven of Cups-ish in the way that like you're looking at the cups and there's all these different choices when in actuality they're not actually different. Like it's an illusion of a choice. And this is what this is kind of feeling like. It's the feeling that like in reality, it doesn't matter what door you choose. It doesn't matter what path you choose. It matters that you keep fucking going forward. And it matters how you align your steps that you take. Meanwhile, I think you're getting very bogged down on the details and on the practicalities and on the overthinking aspect. Because these two here, these two cards are cards that, for me, they feel like they ask for your trust. And that's what this is. This is about asking for your trust to just fucking do something. Just take a step forward. And then take another step forward. And then take another step. Because I think what's going on here is I think you're experiencing a very spiritual thing. And that's whatever that looks like to you and whatever that feels like to you. It's a spiritual experience though, or it's a personal develop experience if you don't feel particularly spiritual as a person. It's maybe even a religious experience if you like religion and like the word religion. But it's like the Judgment card. And when I say spiritual, I think of examples like, for me, when I'm sitting with my friends and we're singing, or a really good song comes on the radio, or we're having a drum circle. It's always very music-based for me, but it's those moments when I'm there with my friends, and then I hear this beautiful music. And through this beautiful music, without any kind of thought behind it, without any kind of conscious choice in the matter, my spirit, my soul, my heart is drawn to move, is pulled to sing, whether I actually want to or not. That doesn't matter. I mean, I always want to, but it doesn't matter who the audience is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what might come after that moment, because you're not thinking about it. You're just there in that moment. And in that moment, a part of your heart, a part of your soul is calling you, is saying, come on, get up, move with me, sing with me, paint with me, write with me. Whatever the way it manifests for you, it can be varied. But that's how it feels to me. I'm tapping my chest as if you can see it. To me, it's that feeling of, let's go. Let's do this. It is irresistible. It is calm. It is trustworthy. It is solid. It is you. It is your heart and your soul calling to you. And at the same time, it's this thing somehow outside of yourself calling to you. It feels like, if I try and put it into words, and I'm sorry, this is apparently very cheesy. I hope you like cheesy if you pick this pile. It's that feeling when you are completely just in touch with your heart and your soul, and you're also in touch with the universal connection that I believe we all have. I believe we are all a part of an interconnected web of life. So that's through the lens through which I see this. It reminds me of Elizabeth Gilbert did this really amazing TED Talk. I'll link it in the description box below, called the Elusive Creative Genius, where she talks about the experience of what it was like after she wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and everyone was expecting her to come out with this amazing second novel, and she was feeling all this pressure, and she talks about like the elusive creative genius being something that we experience that moves through us as opposed to who we are. And she gives many examples. It's a fabulous TED Talk. I've watched it like 5 times. I love it. I highly recommend it. Go check it out. And that's the kind of feeling. It's the Judgment card is those moments when you just kind of or at least to me, my experiences with the Judgment card are those kinds of moments. And this definitely, especially with the Star card here, this definitely feels like a spiritual thing. And the other thing that Elizabeth Gilbert talks about in this is that people tend to take on the weight and the responsibility of this magic of inspiration, this magic of the elusive creative genius. We tend to take it on as if it is who we are, as if it is our words. And I don't know if you've ever experienced it. I have. Those moments where something just comes to you and you just kind of like, oh, okay, I'm just going to write this. And then later you look back and you're like, I know I wrote this. It wasn't, but I don't know where it came from. I don't know how I found these words to come together in this perfect way. I don't know how I managed to get this painting. I don't know how this cookie recipe came out so perfectly. Creativity comes out in so many different ways. But it's this living, magical thing. And to me, as I said, it feels like the moments when your heart and your soul are connecting to the cosmic web of life. And through this, you're able to express things and do things and be a part of things and feel connected to things in a way that day-to-day life we don't feel necessarily all the time. I wish we did. I hope that made any kind of sense. So maybe you're a really creative person watching this, and you really like painting, singing, dancing, writing, baking cakes, drawing, making creative content. I don't know. I don't know if it's relevant to anybody, but when I said making creative content, the first person who popped into my head was Candy. Candy Soul and Soil. I'll link her channel up above in the cards. She just popped into my head. I have no clue if that's relevant. Maybe one of you was just watching one of her videos. Maybe she's watching this. I have no clue. But she just popped into my head. If that makes any kind of sense, then that there might be a very specific message there for one of you. I don't know. Anyway, the elusive creative genius gets stunted by us and by our day-to-day life. Because humans are creatures and we tend to look for patterns and we tend to overanalyze things. And if you've got a lot of air in your chart specifically, because air is all about thinking and communicating, so the air signs tend to overanalyze more than the other signs. Like that's where that kind of analysis comes from. So if you've got strong Aquarius, strong Libra, strong, what is the last one? Gemini. This could be something that, like, we can tend to stunt it for ourselves, or other people try and stunt it because it's not something we understand logically. It's not something we can sit down and put on paper and explain, here's the formula, here's why this happened. Like, we can't math it out. We can't science it out. At least not yet. I hope one day we find science to prove magic, because I believe magic is just the science that, like, magic is science that we just don't know how to explain yet. But we try to put this very practical lens over an extremely spiritual experience, or this very analytical lens over a very spiritual experience. And that's what this feels like. This feels like you're getting stuck on the details. You're getting stuck in the analysis. You're getting stuck in, like, so if you're feeling this creative surge, I'm just going to use this as an example. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that you would point to and call creative. It's just an example. And because I'm creative, it's the examples I tend to resonate with. If you're sitting there and you're feeling this urge to make something, let's just say, this Two of Swords, this obstacle here is talking about getting stuck on, okay, what am I going to make? I could make a cake and then I'd have cake, and I could make cookies for the bake sale. When do I have time to make this thing? I could do a painting. Well, if I do a painting, what kind of medium am I going to use? Am I going to use acrylics? Am I going to use watercolor? Maybe I should just draw, because then I don't have to wait for things to dry. I can just draw it. Or I could just create a video, because I don't really have space and my room is very full and there's lots of things going on, and oh shoot, is that my kid crying for me? And oh wait, I forgot I have this whole to-do list to do. I don't have time to sit down and create now. On and on and on. One simple urge devolves into this pile of mental overwhelm, because we are trying to apply an analytical, logical, rational lens to something that by its nature we have decided is not rational. And so things kind of just stop. And so we come to the message of this. The Star. This is a really potent message, and I'm in this moment feeling extremely grateful, because I wouldn't have been able to explain this to you if I had tried to do a pick a card reading the first time I got the idea, like a year ago. So, go me. The antidote to this is an extremely hard lesson. And that lesson is, it doesn't matter what step you take. It just matters that you take the step in the direction that you want to go. Because you can change your direction later. You can do all the things to get everything right and still have things crumble. You can spend hours picking the perfect medium and then going to the store and it's sold out. because it's not about the destination. The level up, the change is in the journey. It's in how we move through life. Both doors can lead to the exact same place. And for this month at least, although I hope this is a lesson that you will carry with you, because I think it's a really important one that all of us need at certain times. And apparently, if you're watching this, you need it now. If you take steps in the direction that feels authentic and maybe a little exciting or calming works too, and that you feel good about, you feel like, yeah, I'm good with this direction. This is a great place to go. If you're taking steps in joy, then you can, to a certain level, you can trust that you will end up in a place where you feel joyful. It doesn't matter which door you choose. As long as it's a door that relates to your hopes and dreams. If you're feeling this call to a creative energy or a call to something outside of yourself, pick something you're interested in. Doesn't matter what. The first thing that comes to your mind that is of interest to you. Where we go wrong is when we make our choices for ourselves based on other people's thoughts, other people's opinions, other people's interests. It's not what this is about. Fuck them. They don't matter. This is not their life. It's yours. This is about you. And here in my space, anytime I decide to do a pick a card reading or anything like that, fuck everybody else. We're not here for them. We are here for you. Put yourself in the center and fucking stay there, because that's where you belong. You belong at the center of your life. You belong at the center of your decisions. Yes, include the people you love that are also going to be impacted by your decisions. So like, of course, if you are like talking about quitting your job, obviously you might want to talk to your spouse if you have a spouse that it is going to affect. Or you might want to talk to a parent if you live with a parent, even as an adult, as a child. Like, yes, obviously you might want to consider and talk to the people you love who treat you well. In my opinion, I wouldn't base this on people who don't treat you well, even if you love them. The people you love who treat you well, who are going to be directly impacted by your choice, yeah, bring them into the conversation. They're still not at the center, though. You're at the center. That's where you sit. Nobody else. And at the center of your choices for this month, you don't have to reimagine how you make all your decisions in life, because there's so many layers and there's so many things that make all of this so convoluted. The important point is to sit the fuck down in that center seat. You are at the center of your life. You are the one who is centered in your decisions. And when you feel that call, if you haven't already, don't let yourself get bogged down in the details. Just follow your hopes and dreams. Trust them. Trust your heart. Trust your soul. Trust the universe. It will get you to a place where you are happy. If you make heart-centered, I'm going to say it, it's going to be triggery, self-centered. And I don't mean, people say being self-centered is bad. I say you can be self-centered without being an inconsiderate asshole. The two are not the same. Self-centered at its core means you're in that center seat. You wouldn't, at least I hope, you wouldn't cut your hair because someone else wanted you to have short hair. If you hated the idea of having short hair. Like, think about the fact that this world, in Canada, in the US, those are the societies I really know how they function. Think about the fact that this world would get mad at you and call you selfish and rude if you told a friend you didn't want their opinion on your haircut. If you were like to a friend, I'm thinking of doing this to my hair, and they're like, no, don't, I like it long. And you're like, and you looked at them and said, okay, I hear you. I don't care. I'm still going to cut it. It's my hair. The fact that this world would then tell you that that's rude, that's a lie. It's bullshit. It's not rude. You are allowed to be self-centered. You're allowed to be expressly concerned with your own well-being and your own affairs. And you can do it without being devoid of compassion and empathy for others. That is a separate thing. So make your choices for you and for your hopes and dreams. That's all you need to do. Let your soul and your heart and the universe call to you. Don't worry about the details. Just ask yourself one simple question. Is this thing I'm thinking of doing because of this calling, is this something I really want? Is this for me? If the answer is yes, then do it. At least as far as I'm concerned. And that's that. I hope that made sense. Man, that was a wild ride. I hope you enjoyed it and it resonated with you. Thank you so much for watching this. My lovely people here watching this for pile 2. I have a request. Since this is my first video doing a pick a card, it would be extremely helpful and supportive to me and my work if you would please consider leaving a comment down below that says like pile 2, yes, it made sense. Just so I know, so I can have a gauge of how I'm doing. I will only request this in this video. Any other pick a cards I do, I will not request this. And of course, you don't need to leave any details. I'm not going to hunt you down if you don't leave a comment. It's your life. It's your choice. I'm just requesting something that would be very helpful for me. If you so choose to provide that, that would be wonderful. So please do consider that just as a reassurance for this first pick a card reading here on my channel. And then otherwise, if you would like to hear more details about the fact that I am a pro tarot reader and astrologer, then please go to the timestamps or the bar thing and check out the outro. There'll be more details there. Sending you with the most love. And I, of course, if you want to share how this resonated and hit, I'd love to hear that too. All right. I love you all. Thank you, pile 2. Bye. Ooh. Hello, pile 3. If you are seeing this, then I assume you picked this beautiful desert selenite rose for your reading. And these are your cards we have. And I am pumped, let me tell you. I can feel the energy buzzing. I can feel the energy in my hands just kind of vibrating. I'm feeling great. This is fabulous. This is lots of fun. Anywho, Once again, quick reminder, we are looking at the energy for February, this month, which has just started. We are looking at an energy card, an obstacle card, and an advice card. Let's see what we get. Ooh, excited. Inspiration of Swords for the energy. The inspiration is the Page in this deck. The Six of Wands for the obstacle. And the Sun for the advice. Okay. I have some thoughts. And I have no clue how long I'm gonna talk at you about this. So, I kind of need to, I'm feeling very buzzy. All right. I'm just trying to let some of the excess energy, because I feel like my insides feel like they're doing like this. It's really fun, but it's very distracting sometimes. So for the month of February for you, it's like these two cards here feel like they're like really the focus is on the Sun card. I think this might be very straightforward, and this might be quicker than some of the previous piles. And I do so apologize. I hope that does not make you feel left out in any way. When I give readings, it's just very, sometimes it's longer, sometimes it's shorter. It all depends on how the message comes through. Here's what I think. The energy you're in currently, I think this is current, and I think it's going on. This is kind of this very interesting internal battle of comparison and perhaps a bit of imposter syndrome here, because we have the inspiration or the Page of Swords. The pages are the earth element in the deck, so they're very grounded, they're very practical, or at least they're more grounded and practical than the rest of the suit or the quartz. And the swords are about how we think and how we communicate. So this here, if you look at this imagery, there's a lot of ideas here. There's inspiration. It's, ooh, it's, this is, to me, that's just the word I think of for this card. It's, I have an idea. It feels like a light bulb. Like, and it's funny because I could have sworn there was a light bulb on this card, but there's not actually. But it still feels like this light bulb. Like the light here is like a aha. It's, ooh, I have an idea. Ooh, I have an idea. Ooh, I have an idea. So it feels really nice. It's a nice energy to be in. And I wonder if you're seeing this, you might have a lot of air in your chart. The air signs being Aquarius, Gemini, and Libra. Specifically Gemini energy. I'm wondering, looking at this, if you have a lot of Gemini energy. Because Gemini tends to be the one that's like, ooh, idea, ooh, idea, ooh, idea, ooh, idea, because it's an air sign which is ruled by Mercury. And Mercury governs how we think and how we communicate. That's, so if you want to learn about how you think and how you communicate through your astrology, you look to Mercury. At least that's one of the places you look. You could also look at your third house. There's lots of things, but Mercury is the ruler of that. That is what that planet rules. So I don't really like this Six of Wands here. And what's interesting is this feels very similar to pile 2. So you might want to go and check out pile 2, especially if you're watching this and you're like, I picked pile 3, but I also was interested in pile 2. You might want to go check out pile 2. It was some very flowery language here, whereas this is feeling much more straightforward. But the salient point of pile 2 feels applicable here, sort of. It feels like a slightly different part of the nuance, and that's, do not let other people, sorry, there was a hair. Do not let the idea of fame, the idea of success, dictate what ideas you act on. Do not make your choices based on a standard of measure, at least for this month. I feel like for you, like, to explain, the past 2 piles had this feeling of like big overarching things. This feels more like a this month specific, and I'm not feeling as much like there's going to be a lot of big ripples going on for you. This feels kind of like a phase. And what it's truly reminding me of is, I'm going to use myself as an example because I know myself and my experiences best. What it truly reminds me of is those moments when I sit there and I get an idea and I'm like, oh, this is a fabulous idea. I'm going to do this idea and everyone's going to love it, and then I'm going to be famous. And then it doesn't happen because it's not fucking realistic. And if you pay attention at all to the people who are like, I got famous, the people who are like, I made this video and it went viral and then suddenly I had a bunch of followers, those people did not expect to have a bunch of followers. Like, they didn't expect it to happen. So this is kind of a check your expectations kind of a thing. No judgment, no shade. I do this all the time. It's really quite annoying. And at the core of it, the feeling I mentioned of it, it's just like pummeling us towards the sun. The core of it is, how authentic are you being? How authentic are these ideas to you? So if you're sitting there this month and you're just getting just a ton of ideas just coming at you, and you're like, I have all these ideas and I don't know like which ones to work with, and not all the ideas you have are meant to come to fruition. And I say meant to, it's slightly ambiguous. I do believe certain things will, like I personally am saying this from the lens of like, I believe some things are meant to happen. How they happen and how they manifest is what changes. That's my worldview. So that's through the lens through which I am speaking. But it's very, sometimes I get an idea and it's this fleeting thing and then I don't care about it. And sometimes I get an idea and I want to throw everything at it. And sometimes I get an idea because I think it's going to make me famous, or I think it's going to fix the problem. And so then I'll have a victory. But what does that victory look like? That's kind of what matters. What kind of victory are you aiming for? And that's where this absolutely stunning sun card comes in. This absolutely stunning card, which by way of the picture has nothing to do inherently with anyone else. And it has to do solely with you. Now, for some of us, that sun card moment when we're being truly authentic, there are people we love there with us. But they're with us. It's still about us. So one thing that I said to pile 2, which I'm definitely going to say, and I definitely think applies here, is this is about you. I don't give a fuck about anybody else with this reading. This is about you. And that's the way most of my readings will be. Like, I don't read other people who didn't, like, kind of give me permission to read them. This one, by, like, clicking on the video and picking a pile, you're consenting to the reading, kind of a thing. But I will never, in my readings, sit there and be like, you need to tailor your energy to them. You need to make your life choices based on them. I will always center you in the reading, because that is where you should be. You should be at the center of your life. And that's literally something I said to pile 2. So seriously, you might want to go check out that. Timestamps, all that jazz. Because this together as the energy and the obstacle feels very much like, ooh, I have an idea and I have expectations of how that idea will come to fruition and what it will net me. I just keep thinking of that feeling of like, ooh, here's this brilliant idea and this is the thing that's going to get me my success. This is the thing that's going to fix my problems. This is the thing that's going to bring me fame. This is the thing that's going to suddenly boost my income a bunch. When we make our choices based on this fleeting feeling of an expectation, we are setting ourselves up for failure a lot of the time. Because, and what was it? Oh, hold on. Let me get Zariah, because she's the one who said it to me. So hold on. Okay. It took us a minute to get there, and what she said to me last night, and this is exactly the words I was looking for. The things that you want to build, the ideas that you want to build, are not solely reliant on you. That's what she said, and it's brilliant and it's true. Therefore, when you are applying expectations, you are leaving out that part of the formula. So if I get an idea and I write a book, Lisa's actually talked about this on her channel. She talked about that moment where she had to, Lisa Papez, that is, if you are new here, her channel's up above. I adore her and I talk about her a lot because I consume a lot of her content and yada yada. Anyway, she wrote The Self-Worth Pact. Shameless promo for Lisa. I will link it in the description. And she talked about realizing, coming to the place where she realized in order for her to get through writing the book, in order for her to build this idea, she had to accept that once she built that idea and put it out there, she had no control over how it was received. And this is very true in life. All we can control is our energy. We can control our output. We cannot control how our output is being received to others. I can control the words I say. I can't control how other people interpret those words, or how those words I say have made other people feel. I can control the videos I make. I have no control over whether or not those videos are well received. I can control the ideas I put my time into. I have no control over where those ideas will lead me. I'm trying to think of more like tangible examples. I can control what I wear to a job interview. I can't control how the other person thinks of me based on what I've chosen to wear. Sure, throughout time and throughout experience, we can we can adjust these things because as we go through life, we gain knowledge of how things are received. For example, I've learned through my years at YouTube that certain videos just naturally don't get as much traction as others. Right? That's a normal thing. And so now I can include that information when I'm working on videos. We've learned through the process, building off the job interview example, we've learned throughout the process of life that that the working world wants us to seem a certain way. And so if we want to be seen a certain way, we have to dress a certain way. Now, I'm not saying that I agree with this, and I'm not saying that here your message is to conform. Fuck that shit. I fucking hate conformity so very much. I'm here doing tarot on YouTube. And though doing tarot on YouTube has become more popular, it is not conformity. I am a 31-year-old woman. I'm almost 32 years old. In a position where I work for myself and my income is not sufficient. And to conform would be to throw away everything I've done and just go and get a regular job. And instead of throwing away what I've done, I'm continuing on my path while looking for things to expand my income, yada, yada. I am not here for conformity. I don't know why I just felt like I had to justify myself. I'm not here for conformity at all. And I think that's why the Sun card's here. Because the Sun card is not about conformity. To some people, this looks like hell. Some people would not want to go out into the sun. Some people would not want to go to the beach. Some people are afraid of horses. Some people are afraid of water. Some people hate sand. It makes us itchy. Like, the point is that this side here, this is, I'm going to create the idea, I'm going to generate the idea, I'm going to put it out into the world, and I'm going to have success. This is trying to control in a way and this is putting expectations on your ideas. And that is one of the number one ways to make sure your ideas don't go anywhere. Because when you put expectations on your ideas, after like the first or the second time that you put out an idea and it doesn't meet your expectations, we start to develop oh, well, maybe I shouldn't put out this idea. Maybe I shouldn't do this thing, because the last time I had an idea that I thought would work, it didn't work. So why would this idea work? And then we're in this negative feedback cycle kind of a thing, because we put expectations on an idea. We put expectations on the part we specifically have no control over, because it is reliant on external factors. It's reliant on things other than you. And so then we say, well, we failed, and then we continue this cycle of not believing in ourselves and self-failure, yada, yada, yada. And we stop trying. At least some of us do. I know I do. Which is why this came up in a conversation with Zariah last night. So, like, that's my wife, by the way, if you're new. And yes, I do use a lot of examples from my own life. It is part of my neurodivergence. It's just how we roll here. It's how I relate and let you all know that where I'm coming from with my saying I understand. It's how I show empathy. So just know that. I think your overall message here is this Sun card. Ideas are great. When you have expectations of the outcome of the ideas, You're not letting the ideas grow to their full potential. And this time, in this instance, the big takeaway is this Sun card. This is what it's about. So if you're in a state right now where you're just having this major influx of ideas, and you're not sure what to put your time and your energy and your resources towards, the Sun card is the answer to that. Put your resources towards the things that feel authentic. So for example, I just really like examples. If this was my reading, and I will share, I think a part of this message is like, I think this message applies to things for me. So I'm going to make some notes on this afterwards. But then again, I live life in the lens of like, if we pay attention, there's always a lesson for everyone, all the time. So for example, the way I would apply this reading in my life, a practical, tangible example. This reading says, okay, there's lots of ideas, and the problem is the expectations on the ideas. And the solution is, which ideas just feel authentic. So right now, I'm in a situation, I'm trying to generate a lot of ideas for my channel, for my work, and for the thing. So I'm going to go through an idea generation, say. When it comes to videos to put time to here for this channel, for my membership, when it comes to choosing where I'm going to put my time, my money, my energy, the final say in that choice will be if it feels like it is authentic. So if I'm generating a list of 10 ideas that I could try on this channel, that I could explore for growing and developing my work and my channel and all of this stuff, I am going to, because of this card, I am going to eliminate from the list all of the ideas that I wrote down where I think, here's this idea. I think this is a really popular idea. This is a popular thing to do. So I could do this, and because it's popular, it could lead to success. But does it feel authentic to me? If it, like, I'm not going to suddenly start making videos. I'm not going to suddenly start making videos that don't make sense to me. I'm trying to think of an example. I know. If someone tells me a video idea and I think about it and my thought is, oh, that doesn't feel right, I am not going to make that video because it doesn't feel authentic. It doesn't make me feel the feeling this card, the Sun card, evokes a feeling of peace and safety. So for example, this is a new video I'm trying. If I, and I will admit, I'm trying this video through the lens of I want to grow and expand what I do, and I have need to grow and expand what I do. The only reason you're going to actually see this video is because it feels good. It feels right. It feels true for me as I'm doing it. If I was doing this video and I was like, I'm not sure about it, but I think it could get me the results I want, and I put the video out anyways, that would be counterintuitive to this message. I hope I'm making sense. I'm just really trying to think of a way to explain it. And I think why I'm struggling to think of an example to explain it is because this is a thing that is hard for me. So I think that's what I'm struggling with here. The point is, don't invest in the ideas based on the results you think they will have when those results are reliant on external factors that you have no control over. Don't write your book based on a popular idea that doesn't align for you, because you don't have control over whether or not people will buy your book, even if it's a popular topic. You have no control. Don't base the investment of your resources on ideas because you think they will have a result that you like, because you cannot control the result. Like, be the bird. Let the ideas come out of you and let them fly free without expectation. And the way to pick the ideas to invest in is if they give you that feeling of joy and peace and resonance and authenticity. I hope that makes sense. That one was, it was hard for me to find the words, so I really do hope that I got through the message. Because this is my first pick a card reading, I have made a little request for some extra support through all the piles. This is the only time I'm going to request this if I do more pick a card readings, which I think I'm gonna. This has been a lot of fun. I've really enjoyed this. If I do more, I won't make this request again. Since this is the first one, an extra way you can show your support is you could leave a simple comment that says, pile 3, yes, it made sense. I'm just looking for some potential support and reassurance that what I'm saying makes sense to the people on the receiving end of it in some way. You don't need to leave any details. I would love if you want to share any ways this resonated, any thoughts you had, etc. That's always welcome. I love chatting with you all in the comments. This is just a request for some extra support because I'm nervous, because this is a new part of my journey here. And yes, I am a professional tarot reader, so if you want more details about that and you enjoyed this and you would like to explore working with me one-on-one, then go ahead and click the timestamp for the outro. Click the timestamp for the outro and you'll get more details there. But now I'm actually going to put this away and I'm just going to pull a grandmother card because I feel like it. Thank you so much. Love you all. Bye, pile 3. So, I hope that people noticed in the timestamps that this is here, because I've decided to do this randomly. Well, not so randomly. I had the idea of pulling a grandmother for each one, but I didn't really want to do that. But I want to wrap us up here with just a single card oracle pull for everybody who has chosen to click on this this video. So I'm going to, I wanted to use my Songs of the Grandmothers because I love it. I love this deck so much. And I want to start exploring reading intuitively with oracle cards. And this feels like a really safe and comfy way to test the waters a little bit. So I'm going to just pull us a singular oracle here from this Songs of the Grandmothers oracle deck, which was created by Kara Simons and illustrated by Mari in the Sky, who created the Gentle Tarot. So just going to go ahead and do this. Let's see. What is our grandmother? Which grandmother do we want here for February? What grandmother? That's 2. I'd really like to just stick to 1. A grandmother for February. There we are. All right. Let's see what we get. It's just funny because as I was shuffling and saying who the deck was by, the illustrator, a volcano popped into my... Grandmother Volcano. Change. There's no turning back. What was once before, now not. Demarcation point. For those who don't know, demarcation means the action of fixing the boundary or limits of something. In the Songs of the Grandmothers Oracle deck, there is a little structure. This is one of the destruction grandmothers. So it's accepting natural forces of change with less fear and more trust. This makes a lot of sense based on the readings we've done. All of them had this theme of like ways we can't control things. Or it had this theme of us kind of dealing with the consequences of the external influences on us. There was talk about boundaries and needing to create boundaries and safe containers for yourself in pile 1. In pile 2, it was a calling from outside yourself, and just, I can't think of the words I mean, but this makes a lot of sense. So for all of us for February, we have to accept that no matter what we do in this world, there will be external influences on us. There will be points where there is no turning back. There will always be change. There is a lot in this world that we have no control over. And a volcano, anything that depicts kind of natural disasters, it's funny because, yeah, they're natural disasters. They're also the continuation of life. When a volcano erupts, it is awful and it is scary, and it's also new land growing. It is a natural force of life. It is the cycle of death and life. Through life can only come through death, and death happens through change. And because we are continually changing and growing, and dying, we are continuing living as a species, as a world, as the interconnected web of life of which all of us are a part of, at least according to my beliefs. So this month, it's important to know that, yeah, some things we just have no control over. And in the guidebook, there's always a little bit where it's like a quote from the grandmother, which I just want to read. I feel it building, the fiery pressure inside of me. It grows and glows quicker now. This process is me. I don't try to halt or contain it, never have. I cannot, by design. When it erupts from me, I know my surroundings will never be the same, and that's just how it is. Change is not within my control or yours. Don't be afraid of the searing forces inside you, child. There are times they need to come out. Feel them escape and create change outside of you. Unstoppable. And that's the beautiful words by Kara Simons from her amazing deck. And that's from our grandmother volcano, Change. There's no turning back. What was once before, now not. Demarcation point. Oh my gosh, that was such an adventure, and we have reached the end of it. If you are here having watched a pile or the whole thing or whatever, huge thank you. This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. This felt really, really, really good. Again, I just want to reiterate the request I made. Everyone who watched a pile for this first video, because I'm feeling nervous and a little tentative and unsure, a way you can show some extra support would be to, in a comment down below, let me know what pile you picked and if it made sense. With a simple pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, yes, it made sense. That would be a very simple way that you can support me in this moment as I'm feeling very tentative. It is not required. That's fine. So I'm just putting that out there. Otherwise, please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. That's another great way you can support. Like, share, subscribe, all of those fun things. Hit the bell notification, you know, yada yada, the things we always ask you to do, because it really does make a huge difference. If you're looking for other ways you can support me in my work, then in the description box, you'll be able to find my website. As I mentioned, I'm a professional tarot reader and astrologer, and I specialize in combining the two to create a really unique reading experience. So normally I talk, when I do readings with my clients, we're working with their birth chart, with the current sky weather, and with the tarot all at once. It's really cool. There's lots of cool things. You can check that out on my website. If you ever have any questions, because admittedly, it's hard for me to find the words to explain what it is I do work-wise. One, you can check out up above in the cards my Let's Talk About Your Head spreads. That's where I give like an example and talk a lot more about work I do. So you can check that out for some more context. You could also always just send me an email. You can find me at thecraftedwitchery@gmail.com. My email is in the description box. I would be happy to answer any questions and help you navigate my website in any way I can. And also, there is my YouTube channel membership that you can check out. I've got a few tiers here, and there's lots of content that comes with it. You can check that linked out in the description box as well. I'm going to let you go here. Otherwise, though, do let me know if you enjoyed this and if you would like to see more pick-a-card readings from me. I think I'm going to do it anyways because this was a lot of fun. But I gotta go. My throat hurts. I gotta pick up my son from school soon. Yada, yada. Life moves on. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day and a wonderful February. Lots of love. Bye.